Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on X at Movies TV Mad and on Instagram and on Threads at Movies TV Mad X. A very warm welcome to Friday's edition of the Movies TV Mad Daily. This is actually being recorded on a Thursday, so there's certain things I don't know because I'm not in the future. I'm in the past. So you're gonna have to forgive me for that. So every video you get every day is 24 hours behind. I'm sorry. I have very bad internet. By the time I upload a half an hour video, it's difficult. No, I don't want to do shorter videos. I do bite-sized videos on Twitter, X and Instagram for a reason, so I can do my 30-minute video a day. So here's your entertainment headlines. And a very warm welcome, of course, to the Movies TV Mad Daily. Your headlines are this. So James Gunn not only has his Parkent now, he has his Markent. What's the name? I can't remember. So I'm going to read it off of this. Neva Howe is playing Markent. So we know that, what is it, Pruitt Taylor, I think his name is playing Parkent. And Neva Howe is playing Markent. I don't know much about Pruitt Taylor, or whatever his name is, right? You know, none of us, look, we've all seen him in different things. I think I've seen him in Alias, and I may have even seen him in 24 play bit part roles, but I know jack shit about him. And Neva Howe, as Markent, never heard of her either. They both look good. They both look like they'll be a great Mar and Parkent. But I can't tell you anything apart from that about them. But I'm glad we finally officially got our Mar and Parkent. There's also rumours. On the day I'm recording this video, a Thursday, we may actually get the reveal of James Gunn's Superman 2025 costume. We may see David Corenswet in the costume. So by the time you're watching this video, that hasn't surfaced, or maybe it has, and we're all talking about it and the internet has broken for real. We will see. It's going to be a huge moment. You know, the reveal of a brand new Superman costume is always huge. Everyone's going to have an opinion. And believe you me, we will go into it in detail. Because we are a DC channel first and foremost, but we also talk about other entertainment that interests us. So I don't think there's much more to say about the Markent casting, the Parkent casting. But there are other things to talk about. Quinton Tarantino has dropped out of the movie Critic, which was going to be his 10th and final movie. He's clearly got his attention on something else, so that surprised everyone. I don't know why he had to announce that it was going to be his final movie anyway. I mean, I don't want there to be a final Quentin Tarantino movie anyway. So you got that headline as well. Now something, you know, I suppose we can keep it DC. It's kind of DC and not DC as well. Because an AI video of a James Bond trailer starring Henry Cavill as Bond and Margot Robbie as a Bond girl. She'll love that, being a feminist and all that. But yeah, an AI fake James Bond trailer starring Henry Cavill as Bond and Margot Robbie as a Bond girl has got over 2 million views. It looks like fans have more passion and vision for movies than new entertainment, today's entertainment industry has, and that's true. They're not here to entertain us. They're here for their political ideology and propaganda. Everything they do is full of hate for men and boys. This is where we are today. So I think that's very exciting. Now, a normal studio in the past would say, fucking hell, over 2 million views. Let's get Cavill and Robbie in. Let's do this. Let's make her a secret agent. Let's make her a strong, independent Bond girl. If that's what she wants, whatever it takes to get her in. And Cavill as Bond. If you think he's too old to play Bond, he only plays Bond for one movie. Have you seen him? The man looks amazing. He don't look fucking old. He isn't old. Let's be fucking honest. He's around 40. Right? That ain't old. I'm 51 and I don't think I'm old. You probably think I'm old if you're younger than me. But then when I was 20 and 18 and 15, I thought 50 was fucking ancient. But when you're fucking 51, you don't want to be ancient, do you? So you live in denial. Anyway, Henry Cavill isn't too old to play Superman, and he isn't too old, certainly, to play James Bond. So Cavill has a great reach and has a lot of fans, and he's a very, very nice guy. He did make a joke about not doing any more post-credit scenes because of what happened with his post-credit scene on Black Adam. And that kind of reminded me, because he's promoting his new Guy Ritchie movie, which looks awesome. But it reminds me, because that's painful. That's painful. And I'm going to stick by what I said. The only reason he was in that post-credit scene, the only reason they made him come out and say he was back as Superman, was to upscale the Black Adam box office, because they knew it was going to be a financial calamity, disaster. Because as much as I love the Black Adam movie, I'm one of the few people who does, I think nobody asked for a Black Adam movie. The general audience weren't interested in a Black Adam movie, and they're the facts, and that's why it failed. I don't think it's a bad movie. A lot of people think it's a bad movie. I don't. And the score is absolutely brilliant. Lorne Balfe actually nailed that fucking score. But anyway, I think that Cavill knew that it was a facade. The studio clearly knew it was their idea to do it. So we were lied to. I don't know why Cavill did it. I don't know what his motivation was about, why he did it. But there was never any intention to bring him back as Superman. Those people at WB Pictures never wanted to bring him back as Superman, because they disagreed about what Superman should be. You know how passionate Cavill is about these iconic characters. He's had similar problems with The Witcher, because these people don't want to be faithful to, the material. And that's the problem. So, as far as I'm concerned, that's not good. And I think that they're all out of order and they all lied to us, and it was all wrong. And Henry, that's not really a laughing matter, because fans are still very, very hurt about that. But yeah, he's joking. I appreciate the joke, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to go in on Henry Cavill, but I don't think it's possible for that lie to have happened without Henry Cavill realising it. I mean, it'd be even worse if he wasn't in on the lie and, they lied to him. I mean, that would be really, really bad. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. I think they were all in on the lie, and I think it's wrong. So there are your entertainment headlines. Very interesting entertainment headlines for you there. But I want to talk about something. I want us to go further into the future. I want us to talk about the summer of 2025 and a very, very interesting personal battle between Kevin Feige and James Gunn, because that's what it's going to be. It's going to be billed as the superhero summer. It's going to be Fantastic Four versus James Gunn's Superman movie. Who wins and who loses this box office battle, this box office war, could see the end of their career in the industry. Now, James Gunn would be disgusted with talk like this. We're friends. I wouldn't be anywhere without Kevin Feige, blah, 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 blah. That's great, but I'm sorry, James, we do live in the real world. You are working for opposition companies, and with both movies being released at this moment in time so close together, I think it is a war. It is James Gunn versus Kevin Feige. James is not only the co-CEO of DC Studios, he's also the creative arm of the studio. He's the CEO. He's basically doing a lot of the work that Kevin Feige does. Now, he says that Kevin Feige is more doing what Saffron does at DC Studios. Well, I think if we're honest, it's Feige's stories. Feige sets out the vision for everything, right? It's Kevin Feige's show. It's Kevin Feige's world, and we're just populating it, right? And that isn't working any longer. It is working, but now that Iger and Disney interfere with what he does, it's not working anymore, because it's become about political ideology over at Disney and at Disney Marvel, and it's not working. And the audience can see through it. So next summer will be the summer between Feige and Gunn. Basically, the teacher versus the apprentice. And it's a very, very interesting situation. Who's going to win that war? And I don't think there's a clear favourite right now. It's easy for Feige this summer because he's got Deadpool and Wolverine. It's a slam dunk. Even if it's a bad movie, I'm sure people will go and see it. as I've said before, it would be a huge shock if that movie was to fail. I would be more excited about that movie if it wasn't Disney that were going to profit by it. I can't stand Disney. Disney are one of the biggest problems in the modern entertainment industry. The last people you want dominating entertainment industry are the plastic company called Disney. So I would be, I'm not going to lie, I'd be very, very happy if Deadpool and Wolverine failed. I wouldn't be upset about that. I might as well tell you what's in my heart. And in terms of Disney and, any Marvel movie, I want them to fail. I'm a DC fan. I don't want them to thrive. They've been thriving on DC's back for too long. They stole the idea for Batman versus Superman, right? They got good reviews for doing the same movie, and we got bad reviews. So I don't like Marvel. Yes, I followed the MCU. Yes, I've got a lot of MCU movies in my collection, and I like some of them, a lot of them, right? Not Phase 4, not Phase 5, right? Because you'd have to be a lunatic to call those films proper films. But, I like Disney to fail. I like Marvel to fail. And I'm not going to lie about that. And James Gunn's told us off about that before. All this rivalry, blah, 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 blah. Look, mate, when you're a fan and you're not actually making this stuff, this is how it is. It's banter, it's rivalry, and we want each other to fail. It's like being football fans. We like the other team to fail, even if we're not playing that team. And that's the way it goes. So yes, I get great pleasure to what's happening with Disney and Marvel. I hated the fact that Disney were dominating entertainment. I hated that every MCU movie was making $1 billion and getting all this fucking praise, while DC was being slaughtered via the Snyderverse and beyond. And we became a bit of a parody as a DC cinematic universe, didn't we? And that hurt me. That hurt my DC feelings. So I've enjoyed Marvel being destroyed, and there'd be nothing more ironic than me to see James Gunn succeed at DC while Marvel failed. They had the man there. They had Gunn there. So if Gunn actually pulls this off, I'm not saying he will, because I ain't fucking Nostradamus. I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't know if he's making a good, great, or bad Superman movie. I don't. You know what I think? I think it's very hard to tell when someone's not really revealing much about what they're doing. It's hard for me to know if he's going to pull this off. He's pulled off a lot of CBMs. I've enjoyed all of them. But it's hard to know. Certainly a one-trick pony in terms of CBMs. He's played it safe. He's kept his winning formula. Will he keep the same formula with this Superman movie? Instead of treating Superman as an individual character, will he put him in a group? And it's easily done, it's not impossible. The Daily Planet family, the metahuman family, he's kind of mentioned that already. So he's kind of given the game away where he's going, because he feels more comfortable with people in groups. So he could be doing that thing again. As I say, this far, as a filmmaker, as a storyteller and director, James Gunn has been a one-trick pony. So it is Superman. It has to be bigger than that. It has to be more interesting about that. And you do have to focus on the Man of Steel and Clark Kent. As I said yesterday, his castings have been very, very solid. Cheap. They don't cost very much. That's interesting. That tells you something about the budget of this movie as well. So I think the James Gunn and Kevin Feige thing is a very, very interesting thing. Because there's not really a partnership over at the MCU. It's Feige. Feige is the dictator. It's Feige's way or no way. So what you're seeing really is a partnership between Safran and Gunn. Gunn is, as I say, the creative arm, and Safran is the businessman. He's the producer, and he's got that experience. I think he was the only good thing about the Hamada DCEU, but he wasn't running the thing. He wasn't making the big decisions. But here's, the Safran Group, his company, was involved, and that's how he's got involved with DC Universe. Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Well, I've said in the past, as a person, as someone, when I've seen them interviewed, I've liked Peter Safran. He seems very calm, very collected, very intelligent. I do like the way Safran speaks. I've always said that. I've never hid that. The only concern for me is that he was involved with the old DC Extended Universe. That concerns me, that he was involved with Hamada and all those people. But judging him on his own merits as a film producer, yes, I think he's a good man. I could be wrong. He could be an absolute arsehole. Who knows? These people are normally well presented and very well mannered in interviews, aren't they? You wouldn't expect them to be bastards in interviews, right? But I get a feeling for people. And when you see people talk, you know, when I see politeness and gentlemanly conduct within just seeing people on the screen, I kind of get a feeling for them. I've got a feeling he's a good guy. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong about people many times. So what's going on is hugely very, very interesting. Because you've got Kevin Feige, Kevin Feige has created the biggest, most successful franchise of all time. But making the most money out of any other franchises and any other movies, having the most success, having as I say, the biggest franchise ever, doesn't mean that you've made the best movies. There's a lot of good movies. But are you telling me the first Iron Man is better than Back to the Future? Are you telling me that Iron Man 2 is better than RoboCop? Because I'm just putting them together with different, movies, with more than one movie, franchise, or just great movies in general. Are the MCU movies great movies? When you compare them to the great movies, can they be compared? This is what you do. Forget about money. People are so obsessed with Rotten Tomatoes scores, right? And box office, right? But forget that. Compare them in terms of quality. All the classic movies we grew up with, Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2. Is there any MCU movie better than Ghostbusters or Ghostbusters 2? I know a lot of people don't like number 2. I do. I think it's as good as the first one. As I say, Back to the Future and Back to the Future 2 are my favourite Back to the Future movies. Back to the Future 3 isn't bad, but it's a bit of a Return of the Jedi, and it's a bit of a damp squid in a way. It's still a good movie, but it's over kind of thing. It's like your last day at school, isn't it? It's a bit like Game of Thrones Season 8, regrettably. Not as bad, by the way. And I don't think Return of the Jedi or Back to the Future 3 are bad movies, but I prefer, for example, I think Star Wars A New Hope is better than An Empire Strikes Back. It's not a popular decision to have, but I've always felt that. But, yeah, if you take the greatest movies of all time that you've loved, right? Whatever they are, right? Batman 89, things like that. Batman Returns. Can any MCU movie actually stand up? I personally don't think they can. I think, I really like the first Captain America. I like Captain America 2. I forgot the title of the movie. A lot of people love that movie, right? There's some good movies in the early days of the MCU, and the first Avengers is a very good film as well. I don't mind Age of Ultron either. Civil War is an okay movie. But I don't think they measure up with the great movies of cinematic history. But they're okay. Some of them are okay. But because of the box office, because of the Rotten Tomatoes scores, they're hailed up there. And people overrate everything. I heard, a female producer say that Sydney Sweeney isn't attractive and can't act. Now, it's actually something that I agree with. But who is this ugly bastard? What right has he got to talk about somebody's looks? I don't think you should be rude about people. But I don't think Sydney Sweeney is a particularly, the beautiful woman that everyone makes her out to be, right? And that's okay. There's no problem, no big deal. That's just my opinion, right? Because she's put her looks there. She's the one who's become a first trap, and I don't think she's a particularly good actor. I think she's a solid actor who can deliver her lines. I don't think we're talking about Vivian Leigh or Judy Garland here at the end of the day. But these bots and stands will hail people and overrate people. But that's the industry she's in, right? So everyone has an opinion. I don't think modern day entertainment is going to be remembered in 20, 50, 60 years' time. It's not like when we talk about The Wizard of Oz. It's not like when we talk about Superman 78, Batman 89. The first Spider-Man has been re-released. Everyone's loving it, realising what great cinema we used to have. And we're talking about the early noughties, right? That's a long time ago now. We're in 2024. And how the entertainment industry has actually fallen. But next summer they are trying to rebuild the blockbuster, and if in terms of modern day, it is an interesting situation. You have a Jurassic World movie starring Scarlett Johansson. It's going to be, it's going to be a huge movie. We know the Jurassic World movies make money, whether they're good or not. But I think, like, in terms of CBM, you've got Fantastic Four versus Superman. You've got Feige versus Gunn. They won't want to talk about it in that context, and they'll try and calm it down. But they're both under pressure. Now, James Gunn, although he gets attacked by certain fans, he's got a lot of fans and a lot of people believing what James is doing, even though we don't really know much about what James is doing. It's a bit difficult to believe in something and to believe in someone when you don't really know what they're doing. Now, I don't expect him to give me the plot of his movie, all right? But it's difficult to say when all his CBMs have been the same. It's very hard for me to say, yeah, James, yeah, you're going to pull this off. I don't know. I don't have that belief, and I don't know what he's going to do. That doesn't mean I think the movies are going to be crap. The movie's going to be crap. I just don't know. I simply can't tell you. I don't know where I sit in this because I simply don't know. Because the man is a good writer-director, but we are talking about Superman. This is a vital, important movie. Because a Superman movie is always huge and vital. There's been rumours that Superman won't fly in this movie, or maybe won't fly to the end of the movie. Very, very interesting. That saves a lot of money. Again, that could point to this being a low-budgeted movie. So, yeah, there are red flags. I mean, would I care if he doesn't fly to the end of the movie? Look, it's different. If he's jumping from skyscraper to skyscraper, I suppose it's okay. As I say, it's different, but that will piss off a lot of people. Because Superman is synonymous with flying. We will see. I think the reveal of the costume will tell us a big story. Now, something else if we go to James Gunn. Now, he keeps on teasing these DC Comics characters, sweet dispensers, or as you Americans call them, candy dispensers. So do you remember those things when we were kids, right? You could push them up, right? And they'd have Goofy's face on it, like a famous character's face on it, and you could put little sweets in it. So he's been teasing these. First it was Superman, then it was Batman, then it was Wonder Woman. And now what we're seeing is more and more Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman sweet dispensers. I think he's teasing a multiversal Superman movie. And I was the first one to say that. Nobody else believes this is a multiversal movie. I said a few weeks back that there's going to be more than one Superman in this movie. I've been saying that for ages, haven't I? If you're a faithful, loyal viewer, one of the 5 that watches these videos, right? Properly watches these videos. God, I really do respect anyone who watches me babble on. But yeah, I've been saying this for the longest of times. Because why does he keep on teasing these sweet dispensers? He's doing it for a reason, isn't he? He's not doing it to be cute. He's not doing it to be funny, right? So he started off with one Superman, one Batman, one Wonder Woman. So people thought, oh, is Batman and Wonder Woman going to be in this movie after all? I think they will play a small role. But I also think this is a multiversal movie where we'll see different versions of Wonder Woman and Batman in this movie. So I think it's a multiversal movie. I think that's why he's been teasing Kingdom Come as well. Because in the multiverse, there'll be a Kingdom Come Superman. Interesting. Now, they do seem to be promoting the Kingdom Come insignia as their trademark, as their marketing insignia for Superman. I've said already, I don't think that version of the symbol is very good marketing because it isn't the recognizable version of the symbol. And that's a big risk. Wouldn't it be a shocker when we do get this costume reveal if it isn't the Kingdom Come insignia that David Cornsweet is wearing? So that'd be interesting. I expect it to be that insignia, I suppose. But you never know. Funnier things have happened. And if he isn't, who is? We already have heard rumours about Ultraman, Bizarro. And who knows what else. James Gunn kind of denies these things, but not outright. So anything is possible here. And clearly he's leaking certain things to keep the hype and the excitement going. This is what you do. There's only a certain amount of people who can leak stuff to you, and that's people who are working on the project, right? So I think what happens is studios and directors leak stuff. I think that's the only way it happens, right? That's what I believe. Now and again, people may leak stuff, but I don't believe on a James Gunn set that things are readily being leaked without his knowledge, right? So I think it is a multiversal movie. I think the Sweet Dispensers are teasing a multiversal Superman movie. I would really, really like a Superman multiversal movie. I think that would be interesting. The only problem is most kind of attempts at a multiverse haven't really worked, right? Apart from Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, which was a great success, but that wasn't Marvel and it wasn't DC. They haven't succeeded at doing it. The Flash movie was a flop. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness made some okay money, but it was heavily criticised by critics. Still not blaming Sam Raimi. As I say, what happens on that screen is down to Kevin Feige, and the director is just someone. Basically, Sam Raimi was just doing a friend a solid as far as I'm concerned. Because, I think they had the original Doctor Strange director and then he dropped out because of creative differences, which a lot of people have with Mr. Kevin Feige, because he's a dictator. He wants certain things to happen and that's how it happens. So, yeah. So I think look, if you look at his story yesterday with the multitude of, Sweet Dispensers, it's clear that he's trying to hint towards the multiverse, which is interesting, which asks the question, will we see existing versions of Superman? Will we see, Tyler Hoechlin, Brandon Routh, even Henry Cavill? He was teasing when he first spoke to Henry and told him he wouldn't be his Superman, that he could play a role in the future of DC Universe. Of course, that could be bullshit, because he said that a lot. But who knows? Who knows what's happening? Who knows what his real plan is going to be? But I think clearly the Sweet Dispensers are teasing this. Let me know. Would you want to see a multiversal Superman movie? I don't think this is an ordinary Superman movie, by the way, and that's clear. But, we know there's a Fortress. We know that, we know there's a Lex Luthor. We know there's an Otis. We know there's a Miss Tessmacher. So it's all very, very curious and interesting, but we don't really know what this movie is going to be. And I think that's the fascination for me. And I think whether this movie gets a good press by fans and a bad press by fans depends on the Superman costume reveal. Because I believe the Superman Returns costume reveal really hurt its box office. One of many things that hurt its box office. Because that's your promotion. That's your real marketing. And I think people preferred the Henry Cavill Man of Steel costume more than the Superman Returns suit. I know I did. Some people didn't like the Man of Steel costume. But I think mostly it was seen as a good costume, right? It made Henry, it kind of complemented Henry's body as a Superman costume should do. The Superman Returns costume didn't complement Brandon Routh's body. It made it look smaller. It made him look less muscular. A Superman costume shouldn't do that. It boggles my mind that costume saw the light of day. But the Man of Steel costume is certainly more superior, and I really, really liked the Man of Steel costume. And I think the reason that film nearly made $700 million, which isn't bad, by the way, not good enough for what the studio wanted, but quite good, was, one of the reasons was because people liked the costume. Again, not all die-hard Supermans or people from, Superman fans and the Superman stands and, audiences from the general audience didn't all love that costume. I'm not saying people universally love the Man of Steel costume, but it was more popular than the Superman Returns costume. So when he reveals this Superman costume on David Corenswet, If more people love it than hate it, he's got a potential successful movie on his hands. If people universally hate this costume, then James Gunn has a huge problem.